Everyone's- Oh,
It's gonna wait for Corinda.
I have a friend who, said they may join, and I wouldn't be surprised if they join a little late. So if we get a new person, it may be this new person. But you know how that goes.
Okay,
Great.
okay.
Morning, Corinne. Okay,
We get good to go, recording.
you're on.
So we've been looking at things that you discover in your meditation. Uh, they're not things that you can strive for. They're things that get uncovered when you're not distracted by the things of the senses that are constantly pulling us externally. You begin to have things revealed like your compassion, like your joy, uh, like your capacity we talked about last week for equanimity, letting go of active choosing. We can settle back into choicelessness, simply being all right with whatever is unfolding without trying to use that as a basis for a projection about the future. That's the job of the monkey mind. So today I've taken two poems, and poets are beautiful because they don't give us a rational argument, and it's very much like Buddhist thought because it suggests that you pay deeper attention to what you're experiencing, and you go, oh yeah, that was there all that time, and I never saw it. Like a good photographer. Uh, We've got a guy in Shreveport who just recently passed away. He takes these pictures of buildings in downtown. You go, I've walked by that building a million times and I've never seen it. So this is cultivating the kind of active curiosity. So the first one is from a Greek poet, Yanis Ritsos, and he says, a cessation. You're not searching. How nice it is tonight. Two birds fell asleep in your pockets. And again, that kind of elegant, something stops. You don't even have to know what it is that ceases. The searching stops. You land in the present moment, and a peace so deep comes over you that birds come up and fall asleep in your pocket. So that's one half of the pole, but you can't stay there. That's not where you're going to build a home. So Roy Kahn, a Japanese poet, said, don't say my hut has nothing to offer. This is for you, Matthew. Don't say my hut has nothing to offer. Come, and I will share with you the cool breeze that fills my window. Don't say my hut has nothing to offer. Come, and I will share with you the cool breeze that fills my window. Again, we're always searching for the next intense experience, something to knock us off our socks, that we lose the wonder and the awe of the simple everyday experience of a breeze coming through your window. So in this, you hear the need for an active awareness. An active awareness. You're not just totally plunked down and falling asleep and waiting for the timer to go off. There is a stilling that happens if you allow it. Don't create the stillness, you find the stillness. That stillness is your birthright. But that stillness is also alert to deep nuances. that are going on in the moment that we gloss over. And this is kind of the cultivation of subtle perceptions, of detoxing from all the dopamine we get going and learning to find fulfillment in whatever is filling this moment with wonder. So we're going to be deepening our awareness of the breath. We think it's Tara today. So as simple a thing as your breath can be an object for cultivating this at one and the same time attitude of silence and emptying out, but also of an active curiosity of an engagement with whatever is present. And that's part of that equanimity, not reaching for this, not pushing this away. But once we cultivate that capacity to land in the present moment, land in the quiet, and yet with an alertness, yeah, wow. Learning to see the, as Jesus said, the kingdom is in your midst. It's a matter of perception. It's not going to come. It's already here. So the question becomes, why don't I see it? And it's because one, I'm not present, and two, I'm not opening deeply enough to what's going on. I'm looking, the Jews were looking for a warrior, someone to lead them, a new king, to kick the Romans out. And instead, they got a carpenter who was an itinerant preacher. It was too humble. It was too beneath their levels of expectation. So again, we're cultivating that same kind of capacity to see the wonder and the awe of this moment. So we'll find out how the breath works.
Okay. Deepening, deepening the focus. This was about 12 and a half minutes, and then I'll ring the gong at the end of 20.
Being mindful of your breath is an easily available anchor to bring steadiness into all aspects of your mindfulness practice as it unfolds. As you may have already seen, this simple tool can make a positive difference for you at work, in school, in your clinic or office, and at home. For example, a man owns a computer game company and faces a lot of ongoing deadlines. He reports how even a few minutes of mindful breathing can relieve the stress and worry he faces most. Student found that this practice helped to quiet and clear her mind before taking her exams. In the course of these 40 sessions, you'll develop the capacity to remain more resilient and balanced with whatever experiences might arise in your body, your emotions, and thoughts. As our program goes on, mindfulness of breathing will continue to serve as a home base for presence. You can return to the simple breathing practices we've suggested. Use them as often as needed as a powerful resource for focus, clarity, and inner ease. In this session of Mindfulness Daily, we'll build on the tools you learned of calming and of counting the breath to deepen your focus and bring an even more careful attention to the flow of each breath. Every breath is a wave, an arc of movement. With a spirit of curiosity and investigation, you can begin to notice how each breath has a beginning, a middle, and an end. With a soft, clear attention, with the ever-changing rhythms of the breath. You might try this right now as I'm talking. As you track each breath, you may notice that there's a space between the out-breath and the next in-breath. This tiny gap, when the breath turns around, can be a time when the attention wanders away, or it can be an opportunity to deepen your attention. Notice the stillness in that gap. Rest in it. Make that stillness your friend. This is the empty place before the beginning. before a jump shot, our soprano experiences before that beautiful high note. Sense this moment of stillness and then notice how the breath naturally reappears. Each breath begins in this place, flows through a river of sensations, and then fades to another brief moment of quiet. Let yourself become a steady witness, making space for each breath with attention. This growing sensitivity to the entire wave of each breath will deepen your concentration. Whether you're writing computer code, comforting a patient, or solving a challenging problem on a test, your growing capacity for focus and concentration, combined with deepening kindness, will serve all you do. As we've been doing, come into a comfortable sitting position and establish a simple sense of presence. Notice the state of your body and mind and bring a kind attention to it. Let your body settle and your mind be at ease as best you can, and fill your body with the half smile of kindness. Take 2 deep, relaxing breaths now to sense the breath more fully in your body. Now bring your relaxed and focused attention to the natural rhythm of breathing, wherever you feel or sense the breath most easily. Let the breath breathe itself, and with a relaxed, receptive attention, just notice your experience without any judgment. Feeling several breaths in a row. And as you feel each breath, let the mind calm and the body relax. If it's been helpful, you might softly use the words calm and ease, or you might want to count 1 to 5, stabilize your focus. Continue with this relaxed and calming attention on the breath for a few more moments. Remember, each time the attention has wandered, gently bring the puppy back. Sit, stay with this breath, and then the next one. No judgment, simply a kind, steady return. This breath, just as it is, now as the breath settles, you can deepen the focus of your attention. Feel how the movement of each breath has an arc you can gently follow. Wherever you're feeling the breath, notice the sensations when it first begins. And you can track it through the long middle and into the fading at the end. Each in-breath and out-breath as it appears and disappears. Stay with it as you gently sense the rhythm and flow of breathing. Notice the rhythm, the beginning, middle, and end. Sense each changing wave of breath with steadiness and care, calmly noticing the beginning, middle, and end. And now also begin to notice if there's a space or gap between breaths. The pause or space at the end of the exhale might be easiest to notice. And when you sense that space, rest in it calmly, easily. Sense your body sitting and graciously awaiting the breath to resume. Sometimes you can even sense a space before the exhale, so this can be very subtle. Remember, this is not about controlling the breath in any way. You're not holding your breath at the turning point. You're merely being present with that space between the in-breath and the out-breath. Continue your practice in this way, attending to the beginning, middle, end of the breath. Relaxed and steady. Keep it simple. This breath arising and moving like a wave. You're learning the art of mindful attention and concentration. Keep returning with kindness and patience. A few more moments amidst the waves. Let the calm and steadiness grow. During the next few days, from time to time, return to this relaxed and careful breathing, sensing that turning point. Steady witness of your own body and breath, preceding a deep, focused awareness that's calm and kind. This will serve you in 1,000 ways.
Didn't hear a gong.
Yeah, I could tell y'all couldn't hear it. Maybe it was too low. Can you hear that? No?
No.
All right, well, I don't know.
Like one ringy dingy.
Yeah.
So I can hear
Well,
you.
we-
Maybe we need to raise hands, the ones who can hear you.
Okay.
This is a hearing test.
We are in a hotel and on their Wi-Fi, so
Isn't that weird though? Some people can hear and others can't. I don't get it.
yeah,
think
I don't
everybody
either.
can
Could be
hear, we
your
just couldn't hear the
settings.
gong.
I think we should just say gong.
All right, right.
Well,
So
we gotta do it over now.
Do over.
that ain't how life works, unfortunately.
Ooh, okay.
So one of the things that when we were down in Perdido Key, that I really liked about the ocean was the fact that the ocean doesn't need me at all. It's very quickly apparent that it does, which immediately relieves me of a lot of responsibility. The other thing is that there's nothing to understand. You can sit and you can watch the patterns and you can distinguish between a swell and a crest and something moving in and moving out. But it's a total waste of time to try to predict what's going to happen out there next. It's just unfolding. So it's a great place to practice what we're doing here, to realize that your life in general is exactly like the ocean. It's unfolding in patterns that you'll never comprehend. You'll never be able to predict. It's not about you. You're going to little influence on what it does. But it's a tremendous source of power and beauty and deep meaning if you just sit with it. Not that much different from people. We have no patience. We're so busy in our head trying to understand that we don't experience. So cultivating that sense of emptiness again, and yet alertness and awareness. It's mindfulness. How much can you allow yourself to empty in order to be filled by what's there? And that's really cultivating a personal relationship with life, I think. When we quit, the minute you understand something, in a lot of ways, you turn it into a thing. That's why God didn't want to be named. When Moses says, what's your name? He doesn't give a name. And we're constantly wanting to name so we can control. Experiment with, instead of controlling, natural curiosity, alertness, and presence to flow out of you. So, anybody else? Questions, comments?
I had an interesting experience this week, or yesterday, actually. I went to the dentist and had to have dental work done. And I'm in the chair and I'm meditating because I notice that my body is tensing up and then relaxing. And it would creep up, I could feel my shoulders were getting up to my ears, and then I go, oh, it was very interesting.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, good.
That's a great place to meditate.
Practice it. Yeah.
It didn't
And I'll
even
have
hurt. What was going on didn't even hurt, but it was just that whole anticipation. And I think it was about control. I wanted to control it. The sound of the zzz in your ear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Way back.
good awareness.
Yeah.
See, and that's that kind of middle stage where we begin to have enough alertness in the present to see ourselves actively tensing. then it's how do I let go of this? How do I undo it in the present moment? Which sounds like you were doing too. You know, take that deep breath, lower the shoulders. My leg will creep up and be 6 inches off the dental chair, and I'll
Mhm.
let it go down. So back to the allowing. That's great. I love that. Anybody else?
I was with a physio this week and we were doing some relaxation. And I realized about halfway through that I was relaxing the parts of my body we were working on, but my feet were this. Like my feet, my lower legs were totally tense. Like I'm gonna hold on to. You may be relaxing someplace else, but we're holding on to this right here. And I had to purposely release that. But it was an interesting,
Yeah,
to discover it at the time.
yeah.
Exactly.
It was also really cute and said, relax your shoulders, at which I laughed hysterically and moved on.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
Not this incarnation.
So I was gonna bring in another point about time. Remember way back in school when we used to have rings and they hang from the ceiling and you let them down to about the height that you can hold on like that, and then you go back and forth and you swing and you swing. And then there comes that point when you swing forward, there's like a second where you're weightless.
Yes.
And then when you swing back, you have the same thing.
Mhm.
And we were taught during that time of that weightlessness, that's when you do your moves. That's when you flip your legs back. That's when you don't do it. The timing is important when to
Right.
do this, you know. And I thought that it's just something I wanted to bring up because I think it's something overlooked and in discipline and important to just wait for that moment, you know, in your breath and before you go on. Just wanted to open it up for discussion.
That's a good one. And sometimes in yoga, when we're breathing and I'm wanting to guide where that gap is that she was describing, I use a swing as a metaphor. Sitting in a swing has that same sensation. You swing back and there's that pause that you're just suspended in midair, and the same thing when you go forward. And it's a great awareness for where that gap is in the breath, and that's where Deepak says your mind will have a tendency to wander. You know, it's easy to follow that inhale. You can feel it. You got it. You know, you're filling up, and then there's that moment when you might lose your awareness, that gap. But yeah.
And that's where the universe peeks through.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that pause. And that's exactly why we have to be alert in that moment. That's why he's directing us. That's a very critical point.
But it's fun to notice, and you used a word in your introduction earlier about just allowing the space in which to uncover things, and maybe it's not even a verb. It just uncovers it. I don't know, but trying to make it happen is not where it's at. But just all of a sudden something opens up and
Is revealed.
is revealed.
Who's
Reveal
doing the
it.
revealing? It's nebulous.
Is revealed.
You can figure that mystery out. You can take over my job.
I heard a neat phrase the other day. The pause is the gap in the ego where the divine slips through.
Mm,
What I was just saying.
mm. Great wording.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you think about it, we have that, as Tara describes, in every breath. So we have it like twice every 10 seconds.
Right? Yeah.
I wanted to share a morning meditation. I haven't done this for a while, but this is the poem from this morning and what Bart was talking about with being able to see what's there, or what you usually don't see when you're there. Remind me of what I'd written this morning. Red birds and robins blink, find affinity atop my privacy fence, and leave their berry signature so evident on the unpainted plank.
That's great.
It's
That's
just
great.
every morning that I look out, I see something else. And I've looked out for 20 years. You know, this is the 21st year actually of doing these meditations. And every morning there's something I hadn't seen before.
Absolutely.
So, and it happens in that space between the breath. If I just, because I stop looking.
Yeah.
Ah. Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
That's what I think we'll talk about next week. Is that another paradoxical place? So. Any other questions or comments?
You you started us off talking about the ocean, and I have become almost, I hesitate to say obsessed, but maybe I have become a little bit obsessed. Looking at videos, you know, on my Instagram of the ocean, and in particular looking at videos of the power of the ocean, looking at videos like of the Drake Passage or something. And I mean, yeah, the ocean doesn't care about your boat. The ocean's doing what it's doing, and it's and what's under there? Like, what's in there? I mean, the ocean's like space. I mean, we haven't found the bottom of the ocean. And it's such a, I mean, my friend and I were talking about it, and I was talking about it in a way that, you know, I was just so in awe, like, my God, look, I mean, wow. And her approach was a little bit more fearful. And in our conversation, I said, I want to get as close as possible to that power, but not too close, but close.
Right.
And her response to that was, well, while you're getting close, I'm going to stay on the shore.
Yeah.
You know, and then in that conversation, I was thinking about when my dad and I were in Florida a few years ago, sitting on the sandbar, you know, chilling, and there's a shark in the water, and I'm in the water too with the shark. And there was something about that experience that was it was so exhilarating. I mean, I was scared shitless. I mean, it's a shark and it's in the water, and I too am in the water. But I wouldn't be upset if I had that experience again, as long as I know that I'm gonna live, like I want to get as close as possible, you know?
You be real careful with that.
But I mean, I don't know, there's something about that, that exhilaration that,
Yeah.
you know, you're scared, it's kind of fear,
Yep.
but you're so in awe that the fear's kind of over here. Like you're scared, but you're more like, I wanna see it. I wanna, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. Okay, so those of you who've been present have heard me talk about that model of awe that includes fascination and dread. Okay, at the same time, that's what awe is. Now, what's scared? What's scared is ego. Ego does not want to disappear. And whether
Yeah, I
it's
don't
get
want to
to
die.
No,
yeah, or get lost in wonder. We will pull back from that too. Is that fear of letting go of control? Same thing you're talking about in the dental chair, of wanting to control, wanting being hurt and tensing about what's not even happening there. So a wonderful reading this week that said, you know, yeah, peace or fear, neither one exists right now. What are you looking for? And it's mostly our minds looking for fear so we can avoid it. So the phrase that's such an elegant phrase is that what spirit loves, ego hates. Spirit wants to merge. That's a primordial thing, whether it's in your love making, whether it's in wanting to be peaceful and go to sleep, let go of control, the ease that in the background of all our discomfort is a letting go of ego. We want that. A place where it's safe to do that,
Yeah.
you know, and that never shows up.
Paradox.
It's never going to show up. So it's a capacity in the face of fear to do what you did, to give in to the fascination. Okay, let the beauty of what you're experiencing carry you through the fear to let go of the ego for a little while. See what that feels like. That's where you're going to get that weightlessness that Corinne was talking about, where that incredible lightness of being, simply being. Yeah.
So Tiffany, in Indianapolis and at some of the other big race courses, you can purchase an experience that so you get in one of the cars with a professional driver and you're the passenger, and this is my dream. I don't want to drive the car, but I want to go 200 miles an hour with someone who knows how to drive the car. And
Yeah.
I just think it would be so great to let go of that and experience it. And not all the stuff on, but I would absolutely love that. Horrifies my husband. It's that same sort of thing, being close to it
Yeah.
and being able to relax into what it is and feel it
Yeah.
come out on the other side. Yes.
Well, and do you guys remember me telling you that for a long time, and the only reason that I haven't done this in the past few years is because I haven't gone to the fair. But when I go to the fair, I purposely ride that roller coaster that I don't really want to do it because I'm terrified. But I get in line and my husband, I remember my husband and my kids like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, look at you. You look like you're going to vomit and pass out. And I'm like, don't talk to me. No one can talk to me because I am white knuckling it in line. But that first,
Mm, mm, mm.
yeah, I don't know. And I make myself do it. It's like, I don't want it. Like, you don't have to do this. Yes, I do. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's building your window of tolerance It's unpleasant. It really is. That is a spiritual exercise. It really is. People say, where do you practice your spirituality? I said, in the weight room. When I'm getting ready to squat 500 pounds, I'm in the present moment. One lapse, one moment of ego, one moment of not being in my body, and I'm hurt. Okay. So those moments are important. But I'm reminded now of a poem by Rumi. He says, you've been walking along the edges of the ocean, holding your skirts up to keep them dry. You need to dive deeper and even deeper, get naked. So, but it's that total surrendering. So fear, anger, and excitement are all adrenaline. Do you know that? So when I let go of ego, all of that that's trapped in fear and constricted releases as excitement. So people riding on the roller coaster, you got the ones going, oh, shit, oh God, what have I done to myself? You got the ones up front going, wee. So life is the roller coaster. How are you going to ride it? So you're learning to race it. Someday you're going to get here, kid. Keep going.
Well, I think I think I did a combination of both. I think,
Yeah.
I mean, truly, like sheer terror, holy shit, and then woo,
Yeah.
and then sheer terror, holy shit, and then woo,
Yeah.
yeah.
How many of you seen the movie What About Bob?
Yes.
And so it's Bill Murray. He's got I forget who his psychiatrist is, and he's out, intrudes into their family vacation. He's got himself tied to a mast, going, I'm sailing.
Oh.
So you're one step beyond that.
Well, we do have a former race car driver amongst us.
Yes,
I know, I've been thinking about Tommy. Tommy, were you ready to speak a minute ago? He's pushed the limits a lot on fear, but in a way that he could plan and control. I mean, even in your flight overseas. So yeah, and your race car.
And I have to say that it's a whole different experience when you are in control and when you're not. With respect to Jerry had to say, I found when I went to race driving school first, went as a passenger in a race car with a race driver driving, and I found it terrifying experience because it's just like being in the dental chair. I have no control, So it was thrilling, but it was terrifying at the same time. When you have control, it's a whole different experience.
Yeah, when you're the driver.
Yeah, it's that thing about timing again, when you have to act at that specific instant. And if you don't, like if I let my legs flip back and I'm not in that point, I'm gonna hurt my back. So somehow, I don't know, that timing just fascinates me today, Think about my whole life, and I think about the actions I took in different times I'm at now, because I chose to act then. I just don't know. I think that's kind of fascinating. But I do like the ocean a lot, and that power is amazing, and I do want to be close to it too.
So this is the difference between theists and non-dualists. Is theists want to be close to the ocean, and non-dualists want to be the ocean. And it really is possible to connect with that power and let it move through you. And it is genuinely awesome. So ego, religion has still got one toe in a bit of ego, trying to stay present and just won't let itself. But this is really preparation for death. You know, whether your ego likes it or not, it's not going to be around, folks. And there are all kinds of opportunities to practice the little deaths of ego loss. So one way of looking at this journey that the Buddhists take very seriously is preparing to die. You see people who have bad deaths, and it's because they can't let go. You know, and they're always going, "It's okay, Grandma. You can let go." And Grandma go, "Fuck no, I ain't letting go. I am not letting go." And then you see the other people that just go, "Finally, I can let go and struggle and merge back into the source." So the ego is a tricky little devil, and learning to, y'all are practicing learning to let go. But what I like is, I used to do a wedding thing where I'd take bitter wine and sweet wine, you know, something like Mogan David that's cloyingly sweet, and mix them together and say each of these things alone is unpalatable. But you mix them together and it's drinkable. And what we're missing so often is that pleasure. We get a lot of the pain, a lot of the discomfort and the fear in life, but we don't balance it enough to make life that you spend savoring the blessings of life, taking that time. Notice how the other stuff gets. It's not as upsetting.
You know, for me, that's what mindfulness is about. That's why we sit, is so that we can be present.
For moments of
For those
wonder,
moments.
like I was saying.
Wanted to say, I had a similar experience to your ocean experience, and just observing and being part of it. On my bike ride on Thursday, I ride along the river, and it's like that story of a walk in the forest. You know, it's being with nature. It's just so powerful and so. I'll have to show you.
Okay, what are we looking at?
That's the river.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I hear it. Yeah.
It's just so powerful and so it does its thing.
Hey, man, what?
And you can't help with among the trees and the river, you can't help but being part of the whole thing, you know, the whole of nature. You just can't help but being part of it. So I have to stop my bike, I have to get off, you know, the feel of it. It's really powerful.
Okay.
Which river was that, Tom?
It's the South Platte.
Okay.
And you know, even in Golden, sitting at the edge of Clear Creek, which was, you know, which had a lot of energy and power.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
you are that.
Yeah.
You are that,
Yep.
not something apart from that. So take off your clothes and get naked. And if you get busted, call us. We'll start a band. There's big church in downtown Shreveport, right at the head of Texas Street. The minister walks in and there's a woman totally naked laying in front of the altar. And he says, "Good Lord, woman, what are you doing?" She says, "I came here to be closer to God." I mean, what do you do with that? Except say, "Damn, I wish I had that kind of courage." So, almost out, Omi.
Okay. All right. Let's take a deep breath in.
Okay,
No.
here, what the word for today, Sesame Street kids, is pandiculation. What is pandiculation? Body stretch. Now, like your cat does, your dog. You taught me that,
Thank
but you
you.
didn't answer the question.
I think the next word is, what's the phone number of my physical therapist?
That's right.
Gotcha.
Love you guys. Got to go get ready for the ball
Love
game.
you
on.
too.
Y'all have
next
a great
week.
day.
Rachel,
Oh, whoa,
Rachel.
whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
what?
whoa. LSU is playing in the semifinals tonight. They've gotten totally amazing, beat #1 South Carolina in the
Okay.
SEC championship. So we need help.
All right, I'll watch that game too.
All
Jeez.
right.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Oh. And then Rachel's.